Hey, we are live. Hello friends, how are you guys doing? Welcome to the show. My name is Fanny Renders and today we are going to be doing some live coding. More specifically, maybe you catch it from the title, we are going to investigate Convey. Now that's a kind of a lightweight, it's not a silver bullet they say, but it's kind of a helper modular framework for .NET Core to help us create more modern applications like microservices. It should be quite interesting. If you just joined us, hi, welcome. If you do drop by, say hello in the chat here, and then I'll gladly pause and say hello back. Yes, and if you want to actually follow my next streams, by all means you can do that by clicking on clicking on this little follow button, and you'll get a notification when I'm live again, because my schedule is a bit wonky at this stage. It's not a fixed period, so I try to stream whenever I can. So without any further ado, it looks like it's kind of very quiet in the chat room now, because we haven't started really. We're getting into the motion. Just want to say thank you so much to Veronica Geek for following me the other day. I don't believe that was on the stream, but in any case, let's quickly hear a word from our sponsor. Yes, I don't know if you caught the joke. I mean sponsor, meaning it's actually part of the team. I'm part of SDN Cast. It's a team. We do like weekly webcasts or podcast, webcast, whatever you want to call them. We do that every Thursday, and that's around 8 o'clock, 8:30 Dutch time, CET. CET. It is in Dutch, but sometimes we do it in English if we have some English friends. So what we do is we try to cover the weekly news events, and we do some demos sometimes. So do pop by, go to twitch.tv/SDNcast for that. Join our team and check what's happening in a world of development. How about that? Before we move on to the actual star of the show for tonight, Conway, I just want to quickly give a shout out to some of my friends. Martin van Stam, he does Office development. You would have thought that Office is just a productivity suite. Well, guess what? It's 2019. Actually, folks, there are 2 months left of the decade. Think about that. It's amazing. But in any case, Martin is doing awesome work coding. Actually, he's been coding like a lot these days. He's like doing almost every day. You see, he's like live coding in the mornings, Dutch time, CET yet again. I think it's around 7 or something. and he's doing Office development. So if you ever thought about creating an Office app or Office extension for Office 2016 and up, do follow his channel and see how he does it, and hear it from a pro. You know, twitch.tv/Martin Funstam. Check out his channel. Then we move on to Jan de Vries, Jan Dev, twitch.tv/Jan Dev. He does Azure, and he goes around talk about serverless. Hey, look, I'm giving a caption. Thank you for the host, Jan. Streamception. Will this work? Yeah, there we go. Streamception done. Yeah, so he does mainly Office development, not Office, Azure development. He's a solutions architect for 4.net. So do check out his channel. Whenever he's streaming, he will be chatting about .NET and Azure, etc. Moving on to our friend Gerald Verschleis, also hosting me. Gerald, thank you for the host. I'm giving you a cappuccino right there. Streamception. There we go. Yeah, so Gerald is he's currently working for Microsoft on the Xamarin team. So anything Xamarin-isms, go check out his stream at twitch.tv/JF Verschleiß. And you won't miss a thing on Xamarin. Last but not least, Eric Leben. He is he's actually hosting the SDN Cast show now that's just finished. Yeah, so Eric, I don't know exactly when he streams, but he streams, trust me on this. And then, hey, SDN Cast, thank you so much actually for hosting. I just ran across the Studio 1 into Studio 2, which is this one, to host you guys, my friends out there. So yeah, so anyway, Eric Leben, he's doing also Azure related things, and he's a member of Oriella, and that is a front-end framework. So do check out his channel. That's Eric Leben on Twitch. All right, so let me see. Do we have anyone in the chat that we need to address? No one yet. Okay, so we'll wait for the folks to come in. In that case, is the music okay? I hope so, because it's not too intrusive. So Conway, what is Conway? Now Conway, if we go back to the homepage, conway-stack.github.io, they say Conway is a set of helper libraries that can be used independently of each other to help you to build your web applications and microservices. So it's not a framework or a silver bullet, which I mentioned, and it does provide utility to tackle challenges such as messaging, service discovery, load balancing, secure configuration, monitoring, etc., etc., etc. So basically all the plumbing that we normally use to implement on distributed applications, Conway is your guy to apparently to help you with that. Lightweight, modular, and simple. So let's maybe kick the tires of Conway today. I was thinking to see if we can use it in our projects going forward. And these guys from Conway, I just want to actually give them a shout out. Where is this? Do they have a team here somewhere? I've seen it somewhere. Dev Mentors. It's actually part of Dev Mentors, I think. Now these guys. I hope I say this correctly. Piotr Gankiewicz and Darius Olekwicz. Sorry guys if I mispronounce your names. A huge shout out to these guys because they are partly responsible for Conway, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And it's an open source project, so do follow along on that things. So let's click and get started to see how we can get started. So we say So let's do this. I'm going to start a new terminal. I'm not even going to open Visual Studio. Today I'm not even going to open Visual Studio at all. I'm going to open Visual Studio Code. Same thing but different, right? So what are we doing? Let me see if I can find this one. I want to try the new PowerShell. That's interesting. Let's make a sandbox. It doesn't have a sandbox. Let's make a sandbox directory. And we cd into that. Oh, darn. Oh, this is not command line. Does that work? No? Or wrong? How do I pipe something in PowerShell? That? Comma? I don't know. I'm not a PowerShell expert. So, okay. So let's do this. Let's say .NET new. .NET new console. Let's call this Convey app. Okay, so that's done. That's been created. And if we literally go into code, what has been created here? So we have a Conway app here. I need to cd into that Conway app. Alright, let's see what's happening here. Okay, so close that. So basically this is the console application. This is not a Conway specific ism right now. Okay, so this is still .NET Core out of the box. And I think to prove it, why can't I just run it? Oh, it's still installing. You can't see this, but look here. Behind me, can I move this around? No, I can't move this. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can. So behind me there's a little notification saying that you need to install C# extension. So that's to light up the C# stuff in VS Code. So you have to go and install that. Just remember that. So meanwhile, it's now downloading support for .NET Core, the language features from the OmniSharp package. That shouldn't take too long. I think there's also Razor support, debugger. Okay, that looks like it's done. What's it doing here? Server is running. So if I hit F5 now, I have .NET Core. I can click there. Will it now change anything? So it has added C# now as the extension. So if I hit F5, Hello World is now displayed in my console there. Cool. Cool. So that's how do I stop it? That's probably it's already stopped, isn't it? You see? Okay, it runs and it just stops because there's no thingy. Okay, so the first thing they say is to add the Conway package. So let's do that. Let's go .NET package add Conway. Am I doing it wrong? .NET add package. Grammar. You have to think like a South African, yeah. You know, .NET add package. I think .NET package add. Okay, so now that's adding Convey to our project. Cool. Just want to clear that. And it basically, what that did was it added a package reference to the latest version of Convey. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly check if I had any. So I'm going to quickly che Just had a comment now on one of our HDM casts. We had a comment of a guy says, "Are you guys from TV?" No, we're just like normal guys coding, doing things. Okay, so that's Conway that's been added, and then let's see. And then what we need to do is I am actually gonna be. I'm gonna cheat a bit, because will this work if I go async task and then if we say await web host, because that's using web host there, dot create default builder, is it? And then we pass the args in there. I'm actually gonna cheat a bit because I'm flipping around and I'm not supposed to. Alright, so that's that, and then we say dot configure services. Now that's normally what we would expect our services. That's like this is the same as the startup class, I would say. We've got that going. Okay. And then we have configure app configuration. Now this is the pipeline. So the first one is the dependency injection. But this is not new. This is .NET Core 3. And then what we have in here is the app. Yeah, so we have the app in here that we're going to pass along. Right, and then we go build. And then we go run async. What? Really? I do have version 3 installed. Run async. Should be there. Maybe it's a thing. This looks the same. Oh, this thing needs to... Yeah, this thing needs to return a... build or something, isn't it? Yes. Why don't I have a run async? What's happening here? Delegate does not take one argument. Context and configuration. Okay, that's a bit weird. Because if you take a look at a normal .NET Core app, am I just missing something? Yeah, because this build and no accessible extension method build. The first argument Services collection. Ooh, configure services. I see. There's maybe the problem. You have two things here. Can I have 12 there? You can have the context of the service collection, or you can have the action of the service collection. So you give the context as a parameter in. Oh, maybe I'm missing that. That's much better, right? That one comment or one bracket can be such a thing. Create a default. What? No, it can't be. Return. I don't return anything then, just add it like that then, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's just there, and then technically you have that. I need to return something now. So if I have 12 here, yet again we've got the context and the configuration, and that's it. So here I think we can say dot what? Is it like that? What is C? I see. C is the host and app is the configuration builder. Can you believe it? Okay. Go like app. Go like app here. Hosting environment configuration. That doesn't make sense. Oh, it's configure. So I'm misreading it. So the one is the DI. This one is for the configuration. So this is for configure. Configure. And I need to be adding the hosting model there. And here is the middleware. So this is for DI. And this is for the pipeline. And if we had configuration, we would do the configuration here, which is the configuration builder. Or the builder. Let's do it like, ooh, what's happening there? Excuse me. We'd have that. So this is for the config stuff. Okay, so this is what we have. Control this because I need tasks. So if I go and say app dot use, then I can say a request that comes in. Request dot, well, the one is the context, the one is the request. It's oh, this thing is not working properly. So what is A? A is nothing. Okay, so we can say context. Am I missing something here? Let me see. So the request delegate. Okay, so it gets a request delegate in. All right. Which is pretty much context and I think response or something, isn't it? Or I'm confused. I'm just going to cheat. Did we do it somewhere? Let's quickly create a new application in Visual Studio. You know what? Actually, we're going to go to the docs. Docs. Let's go there. ASP.NET Core Docs. Blah, blah, blah. let's go to the API apps overview. Or actually hosting. So we want to go down to the host. New startup. Come on. I'm confusing myself here, I think. Startup. The startup class. That's what I'm looking for. So app builder. So if we go into Visual Studio and we create a new project, a web application project, call that web app 3, and we say we want an empty web application project. I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot here because it's so easy. Use endpoints. That's what we want. So app.use endpoints. Okay, so that's the endpoints builder. And then for that, we pass in the endpoints that we want. And we can say endpoints.mapget. If we go to the main route, then I can have a async context return await context dot response dot write async. Hello streamers. Context response dot write async. I need ASP.NET Core. Let's just get rid of this guy there. Okay, so I think we can do that and it should disappear. Yes. So this is the new way of doing it in .NET Core 3, I suppose. So if I hit F5, so the browser is running and it's giving me an error. An exception of type invalid operation exception has occurred. Please add input routing middleware by calling user routing. Okay. So we probably need this user routing before we do anything else. I would imagine that use endpoints uses routing, but that's just me. Okay. So I'm going to make a new file, tests.htp. So I'm using an HTTP file extension, which means I have this HTTP client. I think it's this one. No, it's not this one. REST client. It's called REST client. Go check out this extension. It's pretty cool for VS Code. You want to be installing that because if you create HTTP files, you can check it into source control. You can do a bunch of things like variables and that kind of things. It's quite cool. I'll show you. It's amazing. So what we'll do is we'll use this, and it uses the kind of hash mechanism to separate all the requests. What we have a host. So the host will be HTTPS. I think it's localhost host 5001 or something. And then we can actually go host slash, or it's actually that double. It's a double. For instance, that. So my application needs to be running. Okay, it runs. Okay, so it's running on 5001, and here in my HTTP file, it's going to execute the host slash. So if I say send request, I'll get back hello streamers. Can't make this bigger. Sorry guys. Don't know how. How can I make this bigger? Any case, so it's actually sending requests, bringing it on that way. So that's cool. So we're going to be doing this way for today. So anyway, let's add Conway to the mix. So that's the way we're doing things at the moment. Nothing wrong with that. So let's see, what does Conway bring us? So if we add Conway to our services, so let's do that. So we say services add Convey. Okay. And we build it. Okay, great. So now we have Conway added. Now what does that bring to us? Let's go on. Let's read. Blah blah blah. Without having, so whenever you're using a program CS, you can build your web application and microservices without having to specify a startup class and add MVC with use MVC, etc. Or doing startup CS included, just invoke add Convey and start using the Convey packages. Okay, so some of the things that we need to remember is to add this section. So let's add that section. I think it's on the pre-create app settings. That's by convention a JSON file called appsettings.json. But you can change it by going to your configuration section and going, I believe it's builder dot add file. Add JSON file or something. Yeah, add JSON file, and you specify the file name, etc. So you can do stuff like that, and you can have your own little file. But by convention, it's called app settings. It just makes everything better. So let's call this application the awesome main app. Okay, so what's this display banner? What does that do? Well, I'm just gonna hit OK. Oh, did you see that? Did you see what's happening here? Maybe we shouldn't run it here. Maybe it's better for me to run it in the console. So if I go .NET run, let's go .NET watch run. Boom. That's quite cool, I must say. It gives in a nice CLI look to it. So that means like this is the awesome app that runs. Cool. Fancy. Okay, but what does it bring us? What does it bring us? Let's go back to the docs and find out. That's it. So now let's go. Okay, so that was easy enough. CQRS. Have you guys heard about CQRS before? Now CQRS stands for Command Query Command Query Segregation or something. Command Query Responsibility Segregation. I meant that. So I'm going to check out Martin Fowler's. I should go back to 2011 and read that. But that's the gist of CQRS. It splits up your commands, your mutations, and your reads. So your reports or your queries as different processes. Because if it's one, you have that one bottleneck. And if you have two places, one goes in, the other one goes out, it's completely separated for performance reasons. So we can add. Can we create a new? Cool. Should I change the music a bit? I think I should change the music a bit. It's maybe a bit better. I think a bit more hip. I think. Sandbox. Conway. Okay. Right. So we use this as the running application, and this we'll use as the. Oops, not that. The copy in. .NET add package Convey CQRS commands. So this adds the command section. Specifically commands. So now let's attend to commands. So like I said, mutations, there's commands. If we add that to our package, okay, and we go back to here, close this guy. What does it bring us? So let's see. So now, okay, so we need to create a new iCommand class. So let's follow along. Let's create a class called create account with ID, email, and password. Does that work? Yes, that works. I'm going to save this as a what is this? This is a create account. Create account command. Let's save this in commands. And it's a CS file. Can that work if I go CS? CS C#. There we go. I want to put it in there. And do I have a... Come on, I don't have that. Oh, I do. I have the snippets. That works. So let's create a public class called create account command. Okay. And it had ID, email, and password. So string. Oh, is it good? Okay, fine. We'll do a good ID. The reason I'm typing this kind of things is to learn. I might as well copy and paste and get it over with, but it also gives me my ASMR. It gives me my typing skills. So we have ID. I lost my train of thought. Email and password. Prop. Oopsie. String. Email. I do it all the time. I should just go back there. String. And password. This is for the accounts. And they say this is a command. iCommand. So that should control .in. Not the Windows input, but the CQRS command stuff. So if 12 in there, it looks like it's a marker interface. Doesn't have anything in there. So that's fine. And then we have a constructor in here. So there's a I would have expected a constructor to be great. Let's copy and paste. That's valid. So we can say good ID string email string password. There we go. And then we can say this dot ID is okay. This dot email is email, and this dot password is password. All right, nothing too fancy there. I can actually omit this here. So let's try this out. Alt highlight. This doesn't work. Alt control highlight maybe. That does not work at all. That works. So Shift Alt. I can multi-edit things. It's quite cool. That's awesome. Going back to the docs. So for each command that we do, because a command on its own is like a message, we need some kind of handler that handles that message. And in this case, it's called an iCommand handler. So what we'll do is we'll create a let's create a new folder, handlers, and we'll create a new file. What do we call this? Create account handler, of course. Create account handler .cs, .cs, and we'll do a quick ctor there, and we call this create account handler. Does this use like C#? What's it now? 8 syntax or something? Oh, that's class. And this is an iCommand handler. And then we need to specify the type of command. In this case, it's a create account command in there. So a control dot, I need to pull in this the Convey's CQRS commands namespace, and also I need to implement this interface. That will give us this handle async function. Now what this does, it's a function, whatever happens in this class, this handle async will be called by Conway to handle the message given a certain command coming in. So you could, for instance, do your validation here. You could call your database table to insert the stuff in here. You can fire off an event. You can basically do anything. Yeah, so put the code handling here. Right, so we have that. So how do we wire this up now into the rest of our pipeline? Because we need to kind of tell it to use Convey. Oh, that's interesting. It's using a Convey Builder on configure services. Okay, so let's get rid of this. So let's go Builder is a new Convey Builder. Okay, that's a static class. So let's go that dot. We say create and we pass the services in there, and we say add add command handlers. Okay, so add command handlers. Okay, that's obviously this Convey CQRS commands part. Okay, that adds that. And what is this add in memory command dispatcher? That's probably a handler. What is that? So what is that dispatcher? What does the dispatcher do? Dispatching a particular command object can be also done using the Convey package dispatcher by calling add a memory dispatcher. I have no idea what a dispatcher is, so let's leave it out. We can say return builder.build. Or we can just maybe I kind of like it this way, build. Okay. Do I need to now call use something in here? No. So how would it know that command is there? Okay, so that's the CQRS part of things. So it's there, but it's not linked. So maybe I'm reading this wrong. I see. Okay, so the dispatcher okay, so you need to create an account service. That's like an endpoint. Interesting. Because this is an application service. Oops, let's go services. Oops, that's a file, eh? And then account service. What's it called, right? Accounts service. Let's just call it account service for now. Class, we'll call this account service. Note I'm doing it singular and they're doing it plural. And just do public in there. Account service. And parameters, alright, so I need a command dispatcher. So it's command dispatcher. Okay, so that's using commands. Command dispatcher. And when I create a field for that. The way I've done that is control dot, and that will give me my helpers in VS Code. Same as in Visual Studio. Okay, so now I have my function. Could imagine this is a kind of a, you could extract this also as interface, I suppose. I'm gonna copy this for now, just to save some time. So we have that. That's basically a one-liner, right? Create account command. Oh yeah, I got a command written out. Oops. And the dispatcher is not with underscore, and I need to include system tasks in here. Oh, not like that, but in the namespace. Maybe we should call this dispatcher. There we go, and that should go away. And then we should be async, right? Or not? Dispatcher.dispatch async. Okay. Send async. So the docs are not 100% correct here. We'll do pull request, because this should be send async. Okay. That's fine, but it doesn't change anything on my application because it's still running, and I think when I execute it, it still says hello streamers. It's fine. Okay, so let's leave that there, and quickly let's look at queries. So queries, like I said, it's on the other side of the fence. It's queries or reports or whatever you want to call them. And we add it as this package. I like the way it's kind of being added modularly. Where's my shell? So we'll add the queries functionality in there. That's the NuGet package. Okay, now we need to create a account query, get account with an ID, and that will spit out a account DTO. Might as well copy this. Same goes for this. So we would say we'll create a folder for queries. Can't type tonight. And in here we'll create what's it called? A get account query. I like to suffix my things. Get account query. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we need a account DTO. Control dot. Can we generate that? Let's generate that in there. And this GUID is system. Okay, so that is fine. Okay, so I can imagine then when this query goes, it will then output this DTO. So should we move this to a new file? We can move that to a new file there. Let's just call that account DTO. So that's the output. Control that. Account DTO. That should be fine. Account.dto. Yeah, there we go. It should resolve it. So this is the query and that's the output. This is how I understand it. So okay, yet again, same thing. Then we have handlers. So let's keep to the kind of a let's keep to this way of working. We go handlers and we say account query handler. get account handler. Get account handler. Maybe this should be plural. Accounts service. Service, like that. Okay, we paste that in there. We need to control dot a few things in here. Get the Convey's stuff. DTOs. Handle async. Task. Yes, I need that, and that should go away. All that kind of things. Not all code paths return a value. Okay, so this needs to return a account DTO. Nimbot TV, thank you so much for that emote. Welcome. Thank you very much for stopping by. That's an awesome multi-emote you have there. Welcome to the stream. So this is where you're going to be going query.id, and you're going to be using this query parameters and then outputting a new DTO. So await or return await, sorry, or like a new DTO or something, blah blah blah. Account DTO that you're going to be doing like that if you're doing async, but you can't do await new. So let's do that. Oh, I'm confused. I'm very well, thank you very much for asking, Nimbot TV. How are you doing tonight, or tomorrow, or this evening, or this afternoon? That's great. Thank you for stopping by. I am investigating Convey. Now, Convey is a modular framework for .NET. It's been in the news on the Twitterverse, and I thought, well, I'm going to be getting my hands dirty a bit with it. Yeah, so await, yeah, you can say await and task dot from result. Right, you can do that. That's valid, right? If you say async here. Okay, so all those things will go away. That's my query. Everything is fine, but something is happening. Accounts service. Great stuff. So what did I say further on the documentation? Okay, so now we need to say add query handlers. Interesting. Of course, because I have commands and queries. So add. Okay, it's probably not there yet, so add query handlers. Control dot, will that work? Contrary, add query handlers. There we go. CQRS query handlers. Okay, brilliant. So I'm still in memory query dispatcher. And that will basically pass this dispatcher in there. I see. Okay, so if we say add in memory command dispatcher, that's the guy dispatching these commands to the handler. And if I say add in memory query dispatcher, that will be dispatching it from whatever service. I think so. So that's CQRS, I think, in a nutshell. And now, what is CQRS without events, right? So we need to have events going back and forth to notify certain parts of application or sections of our solution about business processes or something that happens during a business process. So order captured or new account created, all those kind of things. So that we'll be using by emitting events. And then normally you would have a pub/sub mechanism by publishing events and then have subscribers subscribing to those events. So in this case, let's investigate that. Invent, and we add it here. This is CLS, and then Conway CQRS events. That will add the events to our lovely CS proj. Okay, so implement I event or I reject event. Since the event represents something that already happened, you should follow the convention. Keep all events immutable, with other words, not changing them. Name your events should be kept past tense. Because why? Events should be facts that occurred. It's history. You cannot change history, folks. Order captured. Account created. Drank beer. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. So in this case, we'll try this out. Getting lazy tonight, so let's copy and paste this event. I think it's small enough to do. So we have, let's make a new folder for it. And that's a file, Fani. Events. And then, what was this called? Account created event. Account created event. We'll stick that in there. Account created event. Event. There we go. But do I have the same now for query handler? Account handler, we have that account DTO. Okay, so we do have the query. That needs to be query. And the service. Account service. I'm just doing a bit of refactoring here because it's missing a few things. And I believe the commands were the same thing. So I created a command handler and a command. Yeah, that's fine. Brilliant. With this event, let's add the system in here. But there's also another one. It's a string missing. We can help them with documentation on this. Great. Let's add a Convey. Create a dedicated event handler. Yet again, we need we need to handle something. In this case, we'll create a account created event handler. So here, handlers, account created. Should I call it event handler? No, because it's inferred, right? Wrong. This should be account created event. All right, so okay. Now you would notice this at thingy. Now it's kind of weird. Why have it at event? It's not a Twitter handle. The thing is, if we do that, that's a keyword in C#. And that's not possible to do that because it won't compile for sure. So to get around keywords, you can use at in C# to omit things, so it will ignore. So it's a kind of way of describing your code by still using the keywords, but it's not really the keyword. And a dot system in here, or tasks in here. And this is not okay. Not old code. Not old code returns a value. So handle async. So I can probably do async or something. Okay. So let's see what they say. I need Convey events here. There we go. Not all code returns a value. That's true. Because it's returning a tasks. Await, let's just do that. That's await task.complete. Okay, I hope that's correct, because that's the way I'm building it. No two ways about it. No two ways about it, sir. It's awfully quiet tonight. Is everyone sleeping, or is they just like, this is boring? If you just joined us, welcome to the show. We are experimenting with Convey, which is a modular framework. Well, not really a framework. It's like a opinionated stack to help you with microservices or distributed applications. That's the new word for .NET Core. Yeah. Alright, so now we need to add event handlers to our little program. So we have add event handlers. I think this is so far. Come on. Up chain call, what's that mean? Add event handler. There we go. This way, it's so far my favorite, and it's inherently a feature of .NET Core by having the builder pattern. It's quite cool. Okay, so dispatching a particular event can also be done using the Convey package. Start with registering in-memory dispatcher. Convey Builder calling it add dispatcher. Let's do that. Okay, so we have that, and we can say dot. I hope. Yeah, there we go. So we have a dispatcher for commands. We have a dispatcher for queries. We have a dispatcher for events. And I can imagine that this is dispatcher do something. I think publishing it to some kind of bus or something. But for now it's all in memory. I see. Okay, so post-process account creation. That's the handler. No? I'm not sure what this means though, because I'm a bit lost yet. So you have event dispatches. So why would you have that? Event handlers handles the message coming in, right? And dispatches I see. So dispatches a specific event. Okay. Let's not focus too much about it. Let's just hop on like that. I think it's fair to say that we could just... You can see that's a problem now. I've got so many dispatches. Let's call this command dispatcher. And I think the other one was query dispatcher. It kind of feels a bit too abstract in a way, but fine, that's just me. Control dot this system in here. Got an query dispatcher, but this is not in a docs, it's just me learning. Query dispatcher. I will actually split this up kind of in a separate classes, I would say. Control dot, let's add a new field, and we have a event dispatcher. Let's chuck these guys in here, like it's you can see them. Dispatcher, and let's create a field for them. And this should be the command dispatcher, and this should be the query dispatcher, and this should be the event dispatcher. You ain't say. But I think dispatch, it's called query, I think. Okay. And this is a query object. And this is publish. Yeah, so this publishes to something. So the in memory, okay, so that's how it probably works. So the dispatcher for this case is in memory, but it could be a service bus or RabbitMQ or something. Right, so that's the one-liners. You can see this as post and get, and then whenever something has happened, I can publish this event. Okay, cool. I think. Okay, so yes, save it all. Going back to the docs, what did I say? Account service, all that stuff. So that's fine, right? So now we have CQRS in place, which means we have a subsystem running. Now we need to expose our application as an API. So it looks like they have a web API functionality here. So if we go and add .NET add package Convey.web API, it adds a bunch of things. So I'm going to quickly change this music. It's a bit fast for me. I think maybe let's go for some ambient. Some chill maybe. If you just joined us, welcome. We are messing around with Conway, which is a modular stack for building distributed apps on .NET Core. Yeah, this is the sweet sounds of Sapphire. Cool. Alright, so we have build failures. Oh, okay. That's old. Alright, so what is this? With the usage of Web API package, you can define endpoints more fluently without the need of ASP.NET Core MVC package. So do mind, I do not have MVC running on my application at all. Deriving from controller, so it's more extension of built-in root builder abstraction, allowing to define routing and deal with HTTP requests. Okay, so basically they say you could just say add Convey. So we can do that. .add web API. We add .using Convey web API in there. To define custom endpoints, invoke use endpoints as you would normally do with application builder. Then you can make use of get, put, post, and delete methods. Alright, so let's see what they have here. Okay, so that's interesting. So they had get, hello, get. Okay. I see. How's this different from being a handler? Okay, I see that's the same. All right, so let's follow this. So we have our endpoints here. So we're gonna keep hello, just to show that you can use Conway with all the other things. So we say endpoints. That. Okay. I'm missing something here. A bunch of things. I'm gonna remove this. Okay. We need a partial DTO, which I don't have here. Darn it. Can I create it? Cool. We'll refactor it in a sec. Does this now override? No, something else is wrong here. Okay, so maybe we should just do a based on an account, because we have the DTO here. Okay, so reading further, as they secure it to seamlessly integrate with command and query that can be invoked by HTTP call. Just make sure you don't process queries asynchronously, as it don't make much sense. Alright, do I do that? Yes, I do. It doesn't make most sense. Fine. I won't do that. Okay, so .NET. Let's add .NET cores in there. Just gonna quickly maybe not do this for now. I'm missing something now, because endpoints map get. Does it kind of override it? What's this? Oh, so it overrides that. Interesting. Okay, so I can go get. like that, which is pretty much I see. So what we had here, this one, can we pretty much put in here like so, right? Or not? Takes 2 arguments. Really? What 2 arguments does it take? The string and the context. That's the path and that's the context. What is the problem? Oh, okay, oops. Maybe if I just say app.use invoice. I have it like that. I have it exactly like that. I kind of have it in line, which is fine. You know what? I'm missing. What am I missing? Let's undo everything. Oh, actually, yes. I was missing that, and I was missing that and that. No, that. Okay, and that and that. There we go. For some reason I had my things mixed up, curly brackets and stuff like that. Okay, so now let's get rid of this noise. So we should have streamers here, in here. So now if we go back, it runs. If we then go to do our test, I think we still get hello streamers, which is fine. That's what we want. That means it's using the Conway stuff. If we say that we want to query a certain account, we could make use of the service, the query service, of this account service, to get a certain account given an ID. Okay, so we could say .get, and I think they have it here. Yes. Partial and partial DTO. So that's a query and a DTO, isn't it? As you can see, generic methods can be used for defining endpoints, although it's not required. Whenever you define a generic endpoint of type T, it will bind your incoming request to a new instance of T. Okay. So it's kind of a request. To automatically handle incoming requests, you can implement iRequest marker and create a handle request. I see. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Then ensure that, okay, CQRS, that's what we want to do. Use endpoints, use dispatch endpoints. So ensure that Web API extensions is already registered. That's which it is. Use endpoints to change use endpoints to use dispatcher endpoints. When defining your endpoints, you will notice that there are two additional optional parameters before dispatch and after dispatch. Okay. Interesting. They say we should use dispatcher endpoints. Use dispatcher endpoints. Do I have that installed? Oh, I don't have that installed. We need to add the package. This one, the CQRS for Web API package. Okay, so now that will give us, hopefully, the dispatcher stuff. Cool. Okay, so now we can do it, for instance, the same way in line. We have requests. To expose all of the commands and events as an auto documentation, it might be helpful integration with other services on their custom endpoints. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so let's do this. We want to say get account query, and we want to say account DTO, right? Do you see that? It's got a path. Let's call this accounts. And then this will map now, I think, to the actual query, right? So the object, which is ID. So if we say ID in here, it should take ID, right? I would hope. I think. Let's do it like that. So ID. And then we have a function that's before dispatch, so that's kind of before this happens, and we have one for after. So now let's keep it like that. Keep it simple. Alright, so let's have that. And this this runs. It's red, but it compiled. See, it's running. Going back here, we still have hello streamers. So let's go and say host / accounts / internal server error. Okay, so converting that type to a GUID. Okay, so it needs to be a GUID. Valid enough. So does this thing have a GUID thingy? Let's Google. REST client VS Code. VS Code GUID. Oh, true. Nice. We can just use GUID. We just pass in like that. That should be a GUID, right? So if I do that, that's okay. Cool. That's cool. So it actually returns an object, which is that new object. Where am I now? This one. So technically, if I say, I won't be able to say, okay, my DTO is, for instance, it just happens to have a, let's say it's a string. It's an ID. Let's call this account ID. To be verbose. And a string that we can say name. We could say that ID is the query dot ID, and name is, for instance, some account. Let's say toString. Oh, there we go. toString that. Okay, so now that's in place, and this is running as I save, as I go on. Test it again, send request. Look at that. How seamless is that? There must be a way that I can get this preview window to lights up. How do I do this? REST client, REST client. I saw it now. REST client. Add indentation marks, decode escape characters, large response size limit, font family. There we go. Okay. Consolas and this I don't know, 20. Well, it looks better. That's fine, right? That is perfectly fine, I would say. Let's try it again. It looks almost the same as that. Font. What is the font here? 20. Let's do that. What's it called? REST client. Come on, where's REST client? There. We're going to go down to that. Save that. Great stuff. Okay, so now we have that. That's awesome. That's actually pretty cool. And I haven't written anything that's specific. So it immediately figures out that if I pass that query, it maps to that ID, even though it's initial case, and it expects it to give a DTO out. So technically I don't need this service. That's just for show, right? Because why? That's a dispatcher in its own. Okay. Cool. To expose all of the commands and events as a sort of auto documentation, it might be helpful to integration with other services similar to Swagger docs. Under a custom endpoint, contracts, defining an array of commands and events. Okay. How does that work? But I cannot still understand I request and I response. Okay. I see. Okay. So if I would have created a new folder called, not there, but a new folder called requests, get account request .cs. I'm just now trying to wrap my head around how this can work, because this is all as well for the query. Class get account request public, and we'll call this an iRequest. Okay, that looks like a marker. So they say, okay, that can be, do you have a handler? All right, so okay. Same thing. So we go get account request, and we have good ID, and we can say it's that guy. But also we have a get account handler. Just public class everything, and this is a iRequest handler, and it returns a account DTO. I see. So it will then, this is valid because this is a cool. This is just a different way of doing things. So yeah, it will then get a account query, and spit out a account DTO. Right, so get account okay, and why is this not okay, it's a request in, okay, so it needs to be a request. So this is a get account requests. Okay, valid. So now let's implement this interface. Get account handler. There's no namespace in here. Oh my soul. Okay, so we don't have namespaces. Queries, get account query handler. where? Oh, there. Get account query handler. Query handler. Good spot. I was about to say. Get account request handler. Right, and we say move that to a different file, but it needs to be the handlers. I'll chuck that in there. Right. Okay, so that's the request coming in. So the request is the same as I can imagine the query. Okay, cool. So then what's the difference then between... I'm not a DDD expert, but it's kind of... it goes all over. Because it's kind of the same as the query handler in a sense. But I want to vet this. Because instead of having query, you have request. Well, public ID get set. Come on. So that's basically the same. So some account from request, I believe. Let's just do like that and see what happens. Okay, so what's the difference here? So the difference is that instead of saying get this query, give you that, must I say get request? And a request turns it into a query, which turns it into the handler, most probably. So I could say get let's go here and see what happens here. So this is a the query. So this needs to be a query. Okay. Ah, I see. So basically, does that mean if I... No, it can't be. How can that happen? So to automatically handle the incoming request, you can implement iRequest marker, okay, and create a that will be invoked automatically. But how would it know? How would it know? Okay, so let's maybe go back a while, back a step. To automatically handle the incoming request, you can implement the iRequest marker interface of type T. Okay, and type T is what? property request. Okay. I still don't get it. Will it then just automatically work, or how? Because I don't see it working. How does it know what endpoint to use? Oh, okay. So it gets, instead of saying this is my query and this is my response, you just say the type. Aha. Okay. You know that aha moments? So instead of saying that, the query and the response, I'm just going to do that. That kind of should disappear, because do I need to add something special here? No. Delete partial. Is that similar to a command then? Wait a second, so use dispatcher endpoints. And use endpoints. So I still have that. So what will happen? With that. Okay, so I'm gonna stick with use endpoints for now. Okay. Waiting for files to change. Build failed. Get account request. Something is wrong here. No, it's not. It's not saved. There we go. Now it will run. Cool. Testing it out. Okay. That's funny because now I get an okay. Accounts and good. Should give me this. So T is a class. I'm trying to figure out. Get accounts request. So it should use this request. Which means it should use this handler. Or should it use this handler for this path? That makes more sense. Does not work. Get account request handler. Why? I'm confused. So get partials. Is that a request or not? Do they have like a repo or something here that we can maybe as samples? There we go. Let's go deliveries. Okay, so I'm there into stuff that's orders. There we go. We've got commands, controllers. Okay, they still got controllers. Get order. Order DTO, post. And what is, okay, so this is create order. Where is the commands? Okay, so that's a command. Okay. There are no requests. Get order pricing. So this is what I want to see. Okay, so this is now doing that in line. That's a query. So get order pricing. And this is a DTO for it. I'm not entirely sure what is the whole point of this request, because it does not really ring a bell. Because if I say get account query, which makes more sense, I get, wait, what? What? I'm confused now, folks. Because, oh, wait a minute. Use endpoints. They have use endpoints. Not specifying. Okay, what is order pricing then? It's a query. But where do you define? Its output. Why is it blank now? Accounts.dat. I mean, accounts query has an ID. Does it pick up this one then? Use dispatch endpoints, what's it called? So you have that, and that is a query, they say. T is a class. Okay, then I have to do something with that class. Oh, that's why. Okay. I guess you use it like that then. I'm still not sure how the... Okay, so this is the inline implementation. This one uses a bunch of things, also dispatch endpoints. Okay, that's a given. Okay, it's a query. And then the deliveries use nothing at all. Okay, let's just keep it there for now. So on this, I get this, which is cool. I don't know what that request thing is. Need to make a note of it and see how does this whole thing fit in, because I have no idea. Okay, go back to the docs. It's probably this is overriding this. Most probably. Okay, so to expose all the commands and events in automatic generation, by default contract. So we could use it like that. Okay, have a contract attribute. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. So we need to have a class contract attribute dot probably dot cs, and then they have a just decorate the requests with that. Okay. Can we take this out? Still, how do you define? Okay, I'm just gonna kill these two files because it's kind of in the way. Okay, I'm still gonna go dot get type of get request. Let's do both. Let's say the one is on the v1, other one is v2, just to see, this should be a query though. So maybe a request is the same as a command. I have no idea. Because what's the whole idea of this thing? To mark these things. Okay. So if we say what? contract. Okay, so that's a contract. All right, so what then? Okay, okay, let's see if that works. So, you see, I can then do that. That's what you're saying? Not found. Does not make sense though. To expose all the commands and events as a sort of auto documentation might be helpful, blah blah blah, similar what Saka does under the custom endpoint by default contracts, returning an array of commands and events object using JSON format. Use public contracts extension. Okay, that's what we're missing. Alright, so we need to add public contracts extension, of course. To so app.use public contracts. Okay, so we have two here. We've got that one. And T. T is what? The attribute type. Okay. I'll just keep it as is. So now, to do that, what do I get? Okay, so I get all my commands and all my events. I see. So a query is not a... Okay. So if I keep on doing it that side, I could say contract, and in my events I could say this is a contract, and my event, this I can take out. So you're saying if I execute this now, I will get back nothing. What? Doesn't automatically work. I did not wire up my command though. But does it matter? Because this kind of works neatly, but it does not bring back anything. How can I have it bring back something? Okay, so I'm not entirely sure how this can work. I contract. Does that mean that I need to maybe commands? Where's that? Create order command. So this is our request. Cannot be, man. Still blank. I have no idea. Why would it? What is the difference between a handler or a request and a command here in this case? Because I can do that, right? If I say send, I don't have anything there. I most probably cannot do that because that's any case. I want to get these guys on the show to show us the ropes, but so far I'm quite impressed. So we have swagger. Let's quickly do swagger while we add it. Let's add, oh, not that one. This is also something we can change in the doc. So it's .NET add. It was this one. Adding some swagger documentation. And we can just add, I'm just gonna skip the song because it's kind of crazy. Oops, not that one. Add swagger docs. And then what will that give us? Does it mean when you go to HTTP hello streamers? What is app.use redoc? What's that? Okay. What are we doing? Swagger is not found, so how on earth? Okay, use swagger docs. App.use swagger. Okay. Right. that will give us a Swagger UI. Or not. Is this thing broken? Method not found. Static middleware. Okay, so let's not use Swagger UI for now. Okay, so this is not the one we want to use then. Use... According to the docs, let's maybe read the docs. So if they say use Swagger docs, we use Swagger docs. Okay. And that's object reference not set to instance of an object. Line 46. Okay, there's a bunch of things here that we need to kind of optimize. Can we move it up the stack? Null reference exception. Probably because I need to add Swagger. Isn't it? I have no idea why I just thought Swagger wasn't working. So that's another thing we can maybe ask them. Because the documentation is a bit wonky here. So let's go see what else is there. HTTP, so request service discovery and load balancing. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so add HTTP client. You have some service that uses that client. Okay. And then you just say services that web service. Okay. So this is now going to more advanced stuff. So we have got message brokers like RabbitMQ. It's going through that. Docs. Oh, this is the one of docs. Conway docs Swagger. Maybe that's the reason why it's blank, Fani. Because we have so what's the difference between Convey doc Swagger and Web API Swagger? So let's see. let's add that package. And then in our config, we'll just stick this in. It still says object reference. Add Swagger docs. Use Swagger docs. Yep. Okay. If you just joined us, welcome. We are busy investigating why this is failing. Method not found. Static file middleware. Hopefully they will say something about that here. Create, add Swagger docs, use Swagger docs. This is complaining. On use static files though. Use static files. I think that's a thing. It's not working. It's not working, man. So if I kill that, what will happen? Kill that, what will happen? Then it works though. This public contracts is a bit of a cool. The moment I put Swagger docs back, it breaks. Maybe it doesn't work with API Swagger docs, I don't know. Method not found. Logger factory. Swashbuckle. Interesting. Okay, so logging. Let's quickly investigate this further. I'm not going to go into detail here. Maybe we should do this in another time. But then it's got some logging stuff, which is quite similar with its in configuration. Should this be not inside your app? That's also no. No, I don't know. have no idea. From the looks of things, it looks like this is supposed to be outside. But in any case, let's maybe not break it. Let's not use swagger dogs because I broke it. Okay, so that's logging metrics. It's also quite interesting. How would you do that? App settings. I like the way that it's with the builder pattern. Distributed tracing. Oh, that's logging. Okay, what's this? Using Jagger. Okay. To trace end-to-end things. Configuration. Okay, that's with the vault persistence. MongoDB. Or Cosmos, if you really want to do that. And security. JWT, cool. Validate credentials, create token. Okay, cool. It's quite cool though. But like I said, I'm going to be trying to get these folks on stream so that we can speak to them and you guys out there can ask questions to the creators of Convey. So far, I've been judging it with my limited knowledge. It looks quite cool. It's a little thin wrapper around ASP.NET Core. It makes your life just a bit better. And a bit better always means improvements, right? So that's a good thing, folks. It's another half an hour over my bedtime. Thank you very much for joining tonight. It was awesome, like always, having you guys pair program with me. And so I will see you guys most probably next week or something. Before we go, we are going to let's raid someone with the limited viewers I have. Let's see who is on here. Lana looks.
Thank
I think let's raid her with the 2 viewers. That's an ad. I'm gonna stop my music for now. Lana looks. Okay, let's say hello to her. Start raid. Hang around. We've got like two people. I think that's cool. So let's raid now 2 people. Hello.
Stop anti-gaming. What I'm doing. So guys, if you're going to be uploaded to AI, which language do you want to be written in?
Okay.
Hey Fanny.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to read it. Fanny Reinders. What's up? Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome guys.
Always get my my name incorrect. Yeah, so you guys check out
I would want to be written in
Lana, and I'm going to bed. And with that said, cheers, folks.